Happy day 3, everybody. Today we left Kinnaird Castle. What you just saw there was a dumb waiter. I've always wanted one of these tables, preferably with a pie crust edge. But yes, the three kind of a multi-tiered table is often known as a dumb waiter in the corner of a room. So here we are leaving Kinnaird. Goodbye, Kinnaird. And we decided today to make our way first to Saint, that's attractive, to Saint Palladius's church, and then on to Drumtochty Castle. So I'll jump in and tell you about Saint Palladius in a moment, and then we will go from there. this church. It is a Gothic style church built about the same time as um, well, I don't remember it was built because the notes disappeared for that and I forgot, and here I am. Anyways, beautiful little church, still with services running today. Uh, so stop by in just outside of Auchinleck. It was originally the, I think, family church of the Drumtochty Castle, but of course it is open to the local public and is used for weddings by the Drumtochty estate, which we are going to drive up the drive for right now. So I'll talk about it as we drive up the drive. Drumtochty Castle is a neo-Gothic style castellated mansion and was built in about 1812, about 3 kilometers from northwest Auchinleck. It stands on the southern edge of the Drumtochty Forest, and it was built to the designs of James Gillespie Graham, with further extensions around 1815, with some further additions being done by the same designer in 1839. During the Second World War, Drumtochty was bought by the Norwegian government that were in exile and used it as a boarding school for Norwegian children who were refugees from the German occupation of Norway. And on May 1st, 1947, Robert and Elizabeth Langlands opened a boys' preparatory school at the castle when they bought it from the Norwegian government. The school was later closed and the castle kind of just left. And today the castle is privately owned and is run as a prestigious wedding venue just outside of Auchinleck in Aberdeenshire of Scotland. So here we are driving up to it. It was Monday, obviously, so the property was closed. And if you've been here for a while, you'll know that I was here in 2017 for a friend's wedding. So they were busy doing a reset today and lots of cleaning, and we ran into one of the lovely people that currently helps run the house, and she said we could go for a mooch round. So here we are going for a little mooch round, kind of the main part of the castle, but it is very much a maze once you get inside with doors and things going all over the place, so it is quite fun. Anyways, enjoy Drum, and I'll be back to you in a moment. Our next stop of the day was Craigeiver Castle, and we weren't allowed to take pictures inside of Craigeiver Castle, so I have a bunch to say in anticipation of you seeing pictures of Craigeiver Castle. So I'll start talking and then you'll see it. So we can't talk about Craigeiver Castle without talking about the fact that it is a Harald castle. Harald castles, or Harling, is a rough cast wall finish consisting of lime and aggregate, known for its rough texture. Many castles and other buildings in Scotland and Ulster have walls finished in Harling, and it is also used on contemporary buildings where it protects against the wet Scottish climates and eliminates the need for paint. Other Harald buildings include Clark Cottage, Craig's Castle, McCall's Castle, Myers Castle, Stirling, and Castle of Park. The process covers stonework with a slurry of small pebbles of fine chips of stone. Then the wall has cured, a base of lime is applied. Then using a specific shaped trowel is used to throw pebbles onto the lime surface, which is then lightly pressed into it. Lime then cures chemically rather than drying, and this is sometimes painted with a lime wash. A cement-based render is not recommended as it's very stiff and prone to cracks and detaching from the wall. And an example of a poorly rendered Harling with cement can be found in the Charles Renning Mackintosh designed Hill House, completed in 1904, where he used newly available but poorly understand Portland cement Harling, and over the years, water has penetrated the walls, so now it is contained within a box, allowing the house to dry out naturally, possibly for 10 years or so when the box will be removed. Enough about Harling. So, this fortified or harled country house is 6 miles south of Alford, Aberdeenshire. It was the seat of the Clan Semple, and the Forbes family resided here for 350 years until 1963, when the property was sold to the National Trust of Scotland by the 19th Lord Semple. It is an example of the original Scottish baronial architecture and is a 7-story castle completed in 1626 by merchant William Forbes. Forbes purchased the partially completed structure from the Mortimer family in 1610, and he continued construction, completing it between 1625 and 1626. Forbes was a shrewd international trading success with the Baltic states, and his son became a baronet of Nova Scotia by Charles I. This castle is designed in an L plan and is noted for its plasterwork ceilings. By the early 1800s, the tower had fallen into decay, and Sir John Forbes considered demolishing the tower. John Smith advised against it and stated that the tower was one of the finest specimens in the country of the age and style in which it was built. It was decided to restore the building. Roof repairs were undertaken in 1826, and the same time the towers were altered and raised, and a new entrance door was put in, then restored to the original entrance. Reconstruction of the top floor was completed as well, and the windows and external harling and pointing were replaced, and Smith is said to have designed the garden's cottage. Originally, the castle had more defensive elements, including a walled courtyard with 4 round towers, and only one remains today. Folklore of the area give you to believe that the castle is haunted by one. Lucy, I think her name was, told us one of the ghost stories, and she said that one of the rooms we were in was known as the death room or the dying room, because it's where most of the family went to pass away. And Lord of the castle once found his daughter in there with a young man of the neighboring lairds, and I think it was a bit of a Romeo and Juliet story. They weren't supposed to be together or allowed to be together because their parents didn't like each other. And he said to the young man, okay, if you'd like to marry my daughter, you can either duel me, or if you don't want to duel me, you can jump out of this window. The young man, knowing how good her father was with a sword, decided to jump out the window. He didn't realize it was as high as it was, and fell to his death. There you go. In 1963, the Craigeiver estate was sold to the National Trust of Scotland, and between November 2007 and 2009, the castle was closed. The exterior was reharled, returning it to what it believed to be the equivalent of the harling put in place during the refurbishments of 1820, and it was reopened to the public in April of 2010. Artificial light was never added to the upper floors of the castle. Artifacts located here can be viewed in the same natural light as they were during previous centuries. The exterior pink color was part of Aberdeen architect John Smith's 1826 makeover to match the color of the granite moldings, to answer why it is pink. Some say it's the inspiration for Walt Disney's castle motif and the pink Cinderella castle, but honestly, who knows? An interesting factoid is there are a lot of original windows. You'll see little tiny kind of 4-inch wide windows on the sides of the castle. And these are supposedly the original windows. And the castle, the higher it goes up, the bigger the rooms get, because the walls get narrower as you go up. So it is quite interesting in that fact as well. And you can also see the graduation between the tiny, tiny little windows that would have had no glass in them up to the larger windows that do have glass in them and panes on them and everything, and then windows that can open and close. So look at the windows on the outside if you get a chance, and you can tell when the house was added onto just by the windows. All right, we're off to Balmoral. I've said a lot about Craigeiver, so we may just go into Balmoral at the same time. And welcome to Balmoral. We did one of our sneaky tricks. We got to park a little bit closer to Balmoral. It was pouring with rain, and you don't see much at Balmoral. So, anyways, this is the drive up to the back of Balmoral, the stables where special people park, shall we say. Anyways, let's talk about Balmoral because it's not long before we get to Ballindalloch. So this large estate house in Aberdeenshire is a residence of the British royal family, and it is near the village of Craigeiver. The estate and the original castle were bought from the Ferguson family in 1852 by Prince Albert. He took on the remaining lease along with the furniture and staff without having seen the property first. Soon afterwards, Albert and Victoria found the house too small, and the current castle was commissioned. The architect was William Smith of Aberdeen, and his designs were amended by Prince Albert. Balmoral remains a private property of the monarch as not part of the Crown estate. It was here that Queen Elizabeth died on September 8th of 2022. The castle is an example of Scottish baronial architecture and is classified by Historic Environment Scotland as an A-listed building. The new castle was completed in 1856 and the old castle demolished shortly thereafter. It was more of a hunting lodge, I would say, that was demolished. It is a working estate with 53,000 acres of land, including grouse moors, forestry, farmland, as well as herds of deer, Highland cattle, sheep, and ponies. Balmoral is built from granite quarried at Invergelder on the estate and consists of two main blocks arranged around a central courtyard. The southwestern block contains the main rooms, while the northeastern block contains the service wings. At the southeast is the 80-foot tall clock tower topped with turrets and complete with balustrades similar to those at Castle Fraser. Following Albert's death, Victoria spent increasing bouts of time at Balmoral, staying for as long as 4 months a year during both early summer and autumn. After Victoria's death, the royal family continued to use Balmoral during annual autumn visits, and George V had substantial improvements done during the 1910s and 1920s, including formal gardens to the south of the castle. During World War II, royal visits to Balmoral ceased, and interesting, unlike the monarch's official residence, it is not the property of the crown, but a private property owned by the family. No revenues from the estate go to Parliament or the public purse. No pictures are allowed inside the property, of course, and you only get to see the ballroom anyways. And this has got an exhibit going on at the moment of gardens and how the gardens were designed. There is absolutely beautiful VR1, so Victoria Regina 1 wallpaper on the hallway as you enter towards the ballroom and then descend the stairs into the ballrooms. I believe this summer for May, June, and July, they have opened up more rooms for private guided tours and an afternoon tea. If you want to know more about this experience, I'll let you look into it. I looked into it and I decided it wasn't worth it. So yes, here we are driving across a very picturesque side of Scotland, and it's a bit grey out, unfortunately, so I didn't film too much, and we will reach Ballindalloch momentarily. Are you tired of listening to me yet? I sure hope not. Again, Ballindalloch, we weren't allowed to take pictures on the inside, so all I've got for you is pictures on the outside. So I'm going to talk over our drive here as well, so that you don't have to do that alone. Ballindalloch Castle is known as the Pearl of the North and is located in Banffshire, and it has been the family home of the Macpherson Grants since 1546. The first tower of the Z-Plan Castle was built in 1546, and in 1590 the widow of Grant of Ballindalloch married John Gordon. The castle was later plundered and burned by James Graham. I don't know if it was burned to the ground or not. Anyways, the first Marquess of Montrose restored it in 1645. Extensions were added in 1770 by General James Grant of the American Wars of Independence, whose ghost is said to haunt the castle to this day. And in 1850, extensions again were completed by Thomas Mackenzie, and it was again added to in 1878. And then there was some demolishing going on and modernization that happened between then and then the modernization in 1964. It has continuously been occupied by Russell and the McPherson Grant families throughout history. It contains an important collection of 17th century Spanish paintings, and the castle grounds contain a 20th century rock garden, a 17th century dovecote. The rivers of Spey and Avon flow through the grounds, offering excellent fishing, and the famous Aberdeen Angus cattle herd resides in the castle estate. With some government assistance, the owners of the castle set up the Ballindalloch distillery on the estate farm, which started in 2014. So there we go. That's Ballindalloch for you. And then we have where we are staying for the next couple of days.
Well, so this evening we are in the North Lodge Gatehouse. So this is the kitchen. Oh, this is a little treat box we've been provided with. Tasty. And if we go through here, we've got laundry. Laundry. And then we'll turn around and head up these beautiful stairs. Up, up, up we go. We go. What is it doing? There we go. Little bedroom. So that's a little bedroom. This is the little bathroom. Little bathroom. And the view. We'll go back out here. Alright. And then we're going to go up these little set of stairs. We got a little reading nook. Followed by the sitting room. So that is the sitting room. And if we come back down these stairs and up this set of stairs, oh yeah, I forgot. Another set of stairs. Well, you'll get to this little room. And we have this little room. And the view from this little room. It's quite the alleyway, actually. Very pretty, very nice, very pretty. Alright. And then, when you go back down this set of stairs, by the way, there's no head clearance in here. Just saying. And you go all the way up here, and you get to a delightful little reading nook. complete with Twinkie Twinkie Fairlats. So there we go. Okay, we're going back down now. We have to bring the luggage in. Woo! Lucky me. Who's coming down with me? And one more. And the normal set. Okay, kids. We're gonna go get the baggage. See you later.